And for you personally, I mean, you know, you've been in a huge girl band and came in to replace somebody else as well. And that must have been, I mean, do you think that prepared you well for kind of then going back into the West End?
Oh, it was. Did it prepare? I guess it prepared me. It didn't make it any easier actually, because with the Sugababes, I came in and obviously replaced Keisha, which was the whole saga actually was such a blur and crazy. So much of that, I really didn't know what was going on. I was 20, 21 at the time, and there were management and labels and all kinds of people involved, and actually not really telling me who I was replacing. I didn't know I was replacing Keisha at the time. And I didn't actually know that I was going to be in the band, weirdly enough, which we will discuss down the line when I can. But I was always under the impression that I would be able to meet the girls first. And then, depending on how we all felt, blah, 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 take it from there. So when flash forward to when I ended up being in the band, suddenly it was like everyone had this really strong opinion of me. There were so many statements also made about race, which was difficult, I have to say, because I had never really focused on race because of my parents having visual impairments, right? It is the last conversation that ever comes up. It's not relevant to us. So I'm from a mixed race family. My mum's Jamaican and my dad's family, well, they're Italian, but they were born here. So I've always known I was mixed race, but when I came into the band, suddenly, again, like you said, on social media, it's like Twitter's just kicking off then. There were so many messages, and the main focus was that the presumption was that I was brought into the band because I was lighter, because for some reason it was like more desirable. And I remember being so upset, not just for me, for Keisha. I thought, what an awful thing to read. I doubt very much that she believed it. I hope she wouldn't have believed it. But I just thought, gosh, that's so sad that people are making these kind of assumptions, literally comparing us in such a brutal, cruel, ruthless way. You become open to so much. And my own parents were in the firing line then because people were making comments about their disabilities. It was just really difficult. I remember being in the back of a taxi at the time, and luckily the driver had no idea, but he put the radio on and they had this whole debate on the radio about the new Sugababe member. And I'm listening to it in the back of the car, people calling in with opinions. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I just wanted to sing, and singing used to be my happy place. So now all of a sudden, I'm really having to hear ruthless, unfiltered opinions about me as a young person when I haven't really figured out who I am yet. And try not to take it on. It was really difficult. But in answer to your question, with theatre, there's still kind of, with theatre, unfortunately, there is a culture of everybody's constantly in competition with each other. For example, you have to compete to get the job in the first place. You're up for judgment, of course, like there's panels in your finals, and in every round, people are literally eliminated. But even when you get the job, even if you originate a role and there is no comparison to anybody else, you still have understudies. And for example, your understudies can only get on if you're sick or unable to do the job. So not that anyone is cruel or actively wishes you harm, but there is always this feeling of you can be replaced and there's always someone to step in and fill your shoes. So I think that's why you're also more highly critical of yourself if you make a mistake, right? Because you're like, there is no room for mistake. I've got to get it right and get the job done. And again, it's all about navigating that, but being kind to yourself at the same time.